USS Enterprise, formerly CVN-65, is an inactive United States Navy aircraft carrier. She was the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier and the 8th United States naval vessel to bear the name. Like her predecessor of World War II fame, she is nicknamed Biggie. At 1,123 feet, she is the longest naval vessel ever built. Her 93,284 long-ton displacement ranked her as the 12th heaviest supercarrier, after the 10 carriers of the Nimitz class and the USS Gerald R. Ford. Enterprise had a crew of some 4,600 service members. The only ship of her class, Enterprise was, at the time of inactivation, the third oldest commissioned vessel in the United States Navy after the wooden-hulled USS Constitution and USS Pueblo. She was originally scheduled for decommissioning in 2014 or 2015, depending on the life of her reactors and completion of her replacement, USS Gerald R. Ford, but the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2010 slated the ship's retirement for 2013, when she would have served for 51 consecutive years, longer than any other U.S. aircraft carrier. Enterprise's home port was Naval Station Norfolk, Virginia as of September 2012. Her original home port was Naval Air Station Alameda until its closure in 1997. When in port at NAS Alameda, she was visible to those crossing the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. She was the flagship of Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz while he lived in Berkeley, California until his death in 1966. Her final deployment, the last before her inactivation, began on 10 March 2012 and ended 4 November 2012. She was inactivated on 1 December 2012, with her official decommissioning taking place sometime in 2016 after the completion of an extensive terminal offload program currently underway. The name has been adopted by the future Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carrier USS Enterprise. As of 2016, Enterprise is still a commissioned United States Navy ship, but is inactive. She has undergone enough of the 4-year-long inactivation process to render her unfit for further military service. Inactivation removes fuel, fluids, furnishings, tools, fittings and energizes the ship's electrical system. Enterprise has already been cut open to allow the removal of usable systems. Design. Enterprise was meant to be the first of a class of 6 carriers, but construction costs ballooned and the remaining vessels were never laid down. Because of the huge cost of her construction, Enterprise was launched and commissioned without the planned RIM-2 Terrier missile launch. These were never installed and the ship's self-defense suite instead consisted of 3 shorter-range RIM-7C Sparrow basic point defense missile system launch. Later upgrades added 2 NATO Sea Sparrow and 3 Mk-15 Phalanx CIWS gun mounts. 1 CIWS mount was later removed and 2 21-cell RIM-116 rolling airframe missile launchers were added. Enterprise is also the only aircraft carrier to house more than 2 nuclear reactors, having an 8-reactor propulsion design, with each A2W reactor taking the place of one of the conventional boilers in earlier constructions. She is the only carrier with 4 rudders, 2 more than other classes, and features a more cruiser-like hull. Enterprise also had a phased array radar system known as SCANFAR. SCANFAR was intended to be better at tracking multiple airborne targets than conventional rotating antenna radars. SCANFAR consisted of 2 radars, the SPS-32 and the SPS-33. The USS-32 was a long-range air search and target acquisition radar developed by Hughes for the U.S. Navy. The USS-32 operated together with the USS-33, which was the square array used for 3D tracking, into one system. It was installed on only two vessels, Enterprise and the USS Long Beach, placing a massive power drain on the ship's electric system. The technology of the USS-32 was based on vacuum tubes, and the system required constant repairs. The USS-32 was a phased array radar which had a range of 400 nautical miles against large targets, and 200 nautical miles against small, fighter-sized targets. These early phased arrays, replaced around 1980, were responsible for the distinctive square-looking island. The USS-32 and USS-33 radars, while ahead of the time, suffered from issues relating to electrical beam steering mechanism and were not pursued in further ship classes. While they are considered to be an early form of phased array radar, it would take the later technology of the Aegis phased array and Spy-1 with its electronically controlled beam steering to make phased array radars both reliable and practical for the USN.